Hey everybody. So a while back I had shown a video where I had got some machinist items, like a dividing head and a couple other items. And that was just an ancillary pick to the real reason I had gone out to this particular location. I had gone out because an ad popped up for some blueprint cabinets that were a heck of a deal. And I thought, well, I could probably use those as tool or parts cabinets because they have large, wide and deep, shallow drawers, which if you put dividers in them would make great storage for things like drill bits, cutters, taps, all kinds of, tooling. Got those things, brought them here, unloaded them, and didn't do anything with them. So I just haven't had the time to really make space down in the shop for them, and the paint's peeling on them pretty bad, so I wanted to at least try and clean them up and get a little bit of the paint off, the flaking paint, and maybe even just hit them with a quick rattle can paint job to spruce them up a little bit. I haven't had any chance to really do that, and I just picked up another rollaway Craftsman toolbox base, and I've got a couple of Kennedys I've got to get rid of, so I really need to make some more room down in the shop. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, boy, I really like those Vidmar cabinets that I ended up getting a while back. The quality, the construction of them is just top notch, and they can hold a lot of weight. They're like the perfect thing. The thing is, when they come up at auction, even at an on-site auction, they still, depending on the size of the things, they still trade for, 400 to 600 around here for, like, say, a 5-draw. Sometimes you get an occasional deal on them. Well, late last night on Facebook Marketplace, an ad popped up from a guy who I had seen just like about a week ago. He had 2, like, 5-draws about that tall, and they were loaded with just screws and nuts and bolts, and he was even including all that with them. He had 2 of them, and he had a really good price on them. And I thought to myself, that's a pretty good price on those. I'm wondering whether or not I should think about buying those. I'm glad I actually got beat out by a guy. A guy up in New Hampshire ended up buying them. And the reason why I know he bought them was because another ad popped up like a week after, just a few days after they were sold. An ad popped up in New Hampshire, and lo and behold, I could tell it was the same cabinet. So apparently what the guy did was, the guy from New Hampshire, and this was confirmed to me today by the seller, the guy in New Hampshire bought both cabinets, and then he immediately relisted one of them at a higher price because they were a really good deal. So he must have been keeping one and selling one and using the profit from the one that he was selling to offset the cost of the whole deal. Pretty smart. Well, turns out the original seller had more, and he reposted them last night. So I contacted him, and I went out there bright and early this morning and cut a deal and ended up buying not 1, but 2 Vidmars. And these puppies are nice. And I was just able to fit the 2 of them in the back of the truck. These are 10-draw Vidmars. They're not super beautiful. They've got rust near the bottoms, but all the draws work really well. I had to take all the draws out just to lift it up into the truck. But let's get these things down and out of here and put back together, and then we'll take a look at them better. But I figured what I want to do is, since I got these now, I think I'm gonna just unload those blueprint cabinets that I bought. And then it occurred to me, I don't think I ever even did a video and showed those things. So there's a couple of them still sitting in the front end loader of the Oliver. Exactly where I left them when I took them off the truck, because I needed to get them off the truck when I needed that truck to move something that day. So what I'm gonna do now is, well, we'll do a cold start on the Oliver. Although today it's almost near 50 degrees. Crazy beginning to the month of March. So I don't know if winter's over yet or not, but sure feels like it. Alright, so this is what I ended up getting. I didn't realize until I went to put them all together. This is a smaller unit. So I just kind of set it up on top. So I got two sections that stack on top of each other onto this style face over here. And over here I got two that they stack on top of each other, and they're on an angle iron base that somebody made up. So, you know, the paint's pretty rough shape. Got the, by the looks of it, I think it's got that OD green color to it that the government issue stuff had. So I don't know where these originally came from. They were used in a hydraulic repair shop last. And actually there's still some remnants of some little parts in there that indicate that, so, but nothing of value. There's a couple of ways you could go with these. You could repurpose these as a, like I said, as storage for small parts or tools. The other thing I've seen people do is make a workbench top for it. And then the most novel idea I've seen, and where they tend to get the most value, is you convince somebody that they want to do a vintage industrial look to their high-end loft in the city, and you make a kitchen island out of these things. And as nuts as that may sound, I'm going to believe the money they get for something like that once they repaint it, put a fancy butcher block top on it, come up with some kind of a leg scheme. Alright, so now I gotta unload those two Vidmars. Well, alright, we got one of them off the truck and all the drawers in it. Yeah, we'll store that here temporarily. The other one will probably end up going straight down into the shop, so we'll handle that some other day. But you get the gist of it. So just to get an idea how big these things are, Aiden, go stand over there. Alright, so Aiden, how tall are you? You just went to the doctor's.
5'8". Think.
No, I don't think that's right.
5'9".
Huh?
Yeah, 5'9".
He's like 5'9.5", I think. Anyways, yeah, so they're about 5 feet tall, but that'll have a lot of storage in it. So that's all she wrote. So I got two of those. Well, anyways, took some jostling to get it through there. We couldn't stand it up because it was going to hit the doorknob. So managed to slide it in, but I'm back to having trouble moving around in here again. Temporarily, at least. So I had barely finished catching my breath from moving this big Stanley Vidmar cabinet down into the basement here. I haven't even moved this into position yet and transferred stuff into it. And lo and behold, this thing pops up on Facebook. And I think it was Facebook or Craigslist. I don't remember which. But this thing popped up and it was $50. And I was like, wow, that's really a cool thing. It's a good deal. And these things are kind of collectible. It's kind of weird. They've kind of gotten a cult following. They've started to command decent money. So I thought it was kind of neat. Had the original base that it sits on. I have one similar to this over there that I think is a globe steel. And the bad thing about that one is it doesn't have a base like this, so it sits on the floor, so all the drawers are kind of low. So this might be something better. I don't know. And I'm glad I snagged it. It was 2 towns away. I ran, I immediately responded. I was like one of the first, within the first like couple hours that it posted. And when I got there and picked it up, the guy said, oh yeah, he had already gotten numerous calls from people that wanted it. So there was a bum rush for this thing. So I'm glad I went out there and got it when I did. I don't remember if this opens or not. I don't know what the deal is there. I don't know why that's got kind of like a false bottom to it or something. That'd be cool if there was a sack of gold coins in there. Yeah.